Sunday marks 5 years since a Minneapolis police officer killed George Floyd, and that incident helped spark a summer of racial unrest here in Atlanta and across the country. As 11 Alive's Joe Ripley looks back, some wounds still haven't healed 5 years later.
A face that says so much. After 5 years, Georgia NAACP President Gerald Griggs keeps a reminder in his office of the face that pains him.
To see a grown man call for his mother as he's been choked for 9 minutes and 49 seconds sends a chill down your spine.
I know I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
On May 25th, 2020, a Minneapolis police officer put his knee on George Floyd's neck for several minutes, with other officers looking on.
People were tired. They went outside.
What happened next sent a country reeling into a racial reckoning. First, the peaceful protests with thousands of people packing the streets of Atlanta.
I marched because of the history of this city, the history of this state, and the pain that I felt watching that, but also understanding that what had happened in Brunswick, what had happened in Louisville, and then a few days later, what happened in Atlanta, it was time for a response.
But as the sun went down, passions flared up.
There's 2 cars on fire. There's a whole bunch of people in this building that are getting ready to set it ablaze.
You had the protesters that chose to throw water bottles, paper, other objects towards police, and they responded, as you said earlier, with that tear gas.
In the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic, pandemonium broke loose in downtown Atlanta.
This appears to have been one of the shelves that was up. They threw that right through the window. There's glass everywhere.
While Georgia Governor Brian Kemp activated the National Guard, Atlanta city leaders implemented a citywide curfew on May 30th after the protests spiraled out of control on May 29th. And Atlanta police had their hands full. Officers made multiple arrests. 2 students were pulled from their car and tased by police, which ultimately led to a $2 million settlement. And in the wake of protest, Atlanta's police chief resigned.
Go home.
Atlanta's mayor at the time, Keisha Lance Bottoms, tried to calm the protesters with artists T.I. and Killer Mike.
Atlanta is not perfect, but we're a lot better than we ever were, and we're a lot better than cities are.
Now, 5 years later, Bottoms reflects on this flashpoint in history.
It was a moment that I wish didn't have to have happened. That moment was in the aftermath of us watching a man being lynched in broad daylight for all to see.
It's been 5 years since the death of this man. You're still able to see the face of George Floyd here on this mural in the Sweet Auburn neighborhood of Atlanta. And in the 5 years since his death, he sparked reflection and protest here at home and revolution and a movement nationwide.
I think it renewed the energy in this city around activism. It introduced a new generation to what it means to be a freedom fighter, what it means to be from Atlanta.
Griggs says solutions lie in rebuilding trust, and that doesn't just mean saving face, it means restoring justice, and that begins with accountability.
People think that public opinion is shifted by algorithm or shifted by news coverage. It's not. In the communities that I represent, the feeling has not changed. We are one viral video away from being right back outside.
In Atlanta, Joe Ripley, 11 Alive News.
Now, this Sunday marks 5 years since George Floyd's tragic death, and over the coming days, we will continue to look back on the impact his death had on our community and the changes made in the recent years. You can watch Joe's full conversation with the Georgia NAACP President Gerald Griggs right now on 11 Alive Plus.